So let's talk about domestic terrorism because within the last day here, former CIA director General Michael Hayden retweeted from Joey G on Twitter something comparing the Taliban and Trump supporters. There's a picture of a bunch of Trump supporters in convoy flying flags and whatnot on their vehicles, and the Taliban in convoy flying a bunch of flags and whatnot. Infuriating. So I did some coursework on this in college. My degree's in criminal justice with a minor in terrorism, counterterrorism. Worked for an intelligence agency for 7 years, spent over 4 years on the ground in Afghanistan. Finished my degree in Afghanistan. Sometimes taking tests interrupted by attacks on the base. I am personally insulted by this former CIA director's comments. Let's start off with the CIA definition of terrorism. This is from coursework that I did in 2012, wrote papers on this and whatnot. The intelligence community is guided by the definition of terrorism contained in Title 22 of the U.S. Code, Section 2656F, parentheses D. The term terrorism means premeditated, politically motivated violence perpetrated against non-combatant targets by subnational groups or clandestine agents. None of that happened January 6th. Antifa hijacks events. There's an overwhelming amount of evidence that shows that Antifa hijacked the event January 6th. I personally think it's the most successful thing they've ever done in the history of the organization. And yes, it's an organization there, quid pro Joe. The FBI back in 2012 had a clear-cut black and white definition of domestic terrorism, which has been replaced more recently by about 3 paragraphs that you have to apply some critical thinking skills to figure out that it says the same thing as this one paragraph, which I'm going to read. This was from the FBI website in 2012. Terrorism is the unlawful use of force or violence against persons or property to intimidate or coerce a government, the civilian population, or any segment thereof, in furtherance of political or social objectives. Really, were there some political and social objectives going on there January 6th? No. But has BLM and Antifa been using unlawful force? Yeah. Have they been intimidating people, beating up people on the streets? Anybody who might oppose them? Yes. I have personally experienced this. Absolutely 100%. Antifa and BLM are responsible to date for more than $2 billion in damage to numerous cities across the United States in furtherance of political and social objectives. Period. General Hayden, you former fucking shitbag, you don't know your head from a fucking hole in the ground. You have the audacity to say someone like me is a domestic terrorist? Fuck you! Piece of fucking shit. The DOD definition: the calculated use of unlawful violence or threat of unlawful violence to inoculate fear intended to coerce or to intimidate governments or societies in the pursuit of goals that are generally political, religious, or ideological. It's virtually the same as the FBI, just worded a little bit differently. former General Hayden. You have the audacity to compare me to the Taliban, who I have risked my life for years fighting. You say Trump supporters are like the Taliban? Fuck you!